lots of full fields for over the next 3 days. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the Pick 4, Pick 5 refund. It's basically the same throughout all of Canada from the CPMA, where they have to complete enough races to get them in, which I think is extremely fair to the horse player, unlike some racetracks in the United States. They're state by state, Canada's across wide, so there was no choice. It's a good thing because what usually happens when there's only one race run or two races, the payout is about $2.50. Track gets the takeout and moves on. So full credit to helping the horse player. And then also full credit to ASD for, we've got the 3 races, but instead we've got 7 races each day. So we've got 21 races, no horsemen or owners miss out on a possible race. So full credit there. Kurt, more chance to pick winners with more races.
No doubt about that. And let's kick it off right here. Early daily double wagering with an allowance race for 3-year-olds and up that are non-2 lifers. They're going to go 6 furlongs. And just take note, Rico Walcott was expecting to come over here this weekend and ride. Unfortunately, he got hurt last night in Edmonton at Century Mile, so he is off all his mounts. So number 1, Be My Macho Man, will be Navin Mangali. Marshall, start us off.
Okay, nice looking race to kick off today's card. A couple horses in here. Kurt mentioned this is an N2L race. A couple horses in here already have 2 wins or more. I'm going to start off with one of those horses, Del Vecchio. This is a horse that I keep going back to, it seems. I'm going to go back to him one more time. I think this horse gets a loose lead today. He's been facing much tougher. Those last 2 races, there were a couple of bears in there. Third start off the layoff for Tom Gardapi. Usually a good move for him, although he's been off to a bit of a slow start, at least in the win column. I'm not sure. His horses haven't been taking a huge step forward in their second and third starts, but I think he can change that narrative tonight. I like number 5, Marcelan, as my second choice. He's moving up from the 10,000 N2L condition into this allowance N2L, but this horse has run several races last year that are definitely good enough to beat this bunch. I also will note that he's coming out of a key race. Both the first and second place finishers have come back to win next out, and I'd like the work on June the 10th. No question, you got to mention Perciability in the conversation of top contenders. This is another tough customer. He always runs his race. He has beaten Del Vecchio last year, but that was in a race where Del Vecchio did not get the lead on his own. Langara was in there, another tough customer. I think today he gets the lead and it should be a different story. I'm going to go 2, 5, 6.
Okay, Stretch, how do you see it?
Right, I'm very close to Marshall. Just a point to understand the different allowance conditions or how tough a field is. For example, horse number 2, who I'm taking for the first time this year, Del Vecchio, is turn to the next page and you'll see what the horse was running against. So watch out, as Marshall says, possible loose speed. I do like the 6 for second because it was such a big race last time for him, and should stalk and maybe take over. If it duels, then it sets up for my third pick as the 5. I think the 5 is a step just a little below, but if there's the right setup, maybe it can win 2, 6, 5.
Yeah, just to clarify on those horses, Del Vecchio and Perciability, both of them have won 4 races in a non-2 lifer. Those restricted races do not count against them for their eligibility, so they are considered non-2 lifers, at least in the race office's eyes, so that's why they're in. I like the same 3 horses that you guys do. Del Vecchio to try and go wire to wire. Perciability didn't want to go to the lead last time out, but Rolling Sevens got an easy lead. So Rafael Zentino Jr., he ended up pulling the trigger, looking Rolling Sevens in the eyes, and they battled every step of the way, only to lose by a head, Bob. And Marcelan has been running great. Well, the last 2 years hasn't run really a bad race. And that last one was a good one against Strider's Ring and More Than Stature. I expect these 3 to be at the wire in the end. Now we're going to carry on to race number 2, an allowance optional $15,000 claimer. A wide open race going 6 furlongs. Stretch, start us off.
Okay, quick reminder, because there's 7 races, pick 5 actually starts in race 3. So no pick 5, big carryover, we'll worry about it in race 3. Easily the co-feature of the night. You could almost make this a stake race. It's pretty cool to start off with some top competition of the week. I'm going to go towards number 6. Now, you have to read between the lines a little bit. How could I take the 6 when the 1 beat the horse last time by a bunch and comfortably. The 6 had a month off with no workout. I think the horse needed that start. Was closing at the end, did check, wasn't going to be a factor to win the race. This time I think there's enough speed. The 1's kind of in a tough spot. Does he go? Does he sit? With Bud Light Larry and everything. So just because of the trip, I'm taking the 6 first. You can't leave out the 1. 1 was my best long shot of the year, which won, but going off as the favorite, I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe the morning line was a little out. Huge effort, nothing against the 1. I'm just trying to beat the 1 this time because the 6 is the 7-to-1 value, and maybe people will overlook it. The other one you can't leave out is Bud Light Larry, obviously a fan favorite of mine. Tries every time, full effort. Nice change in running style. Doesn't have to have the lead every time now. It used to have to duel, and last time raced against a bear from Alberta that had run some minor stake races, and it was a nice second place, made a nice move on the turn. A very tough race. And you're probably looking, how could I leave out the 7 horse? Well, the 7 horse has the talent, has been off about 18 months now, has only raced on the turf. There's no way the horse is the same horse if it's here running on the dirt. So if it was the same horse, absolutely, put it on the turf. It's a no-brainer. It's a 1-to-9 shot. I'm going to give this horse a start. Might cost me, but I'm getting value on the others on just an angle to play against. The workouts say go. We just don't know how it's going to go. So I'm going to go 6-1-4.
Okay, Marshall, what about you?
Okay, I'll just touch on a few other things. I like a lot of the same horses. Yeah, the race for me goes through number 7, Hazim. Coming out of New York, he'd been racing, like Stretch said, on the turf. Those dirt works, though, here at ASD, like a minute and 4, that 5 furlong work, that's an awesome work, no question about it. The other thing I'll mention, Brent Rymack, 2 for 3 so far. I'm going to rely on him to get a horse done. I think this horse is going to be really short odds. So on paper, we've seen 5 or 6 horses rather race this year coming off of an 18 to 24 month layoff. None of them have won so far, but I do think this horse looks like the best of that bunch, so could buck that trend. I like American League on top as well here. That was his first start in 30 days, his last race. Thought he had, watching the replay, I thought he had a bit of trouble in the stretch down along the rail. The jockey had to move him out, and then he came running again late. But the number 1 in that race, Strider's Ring, who did beat him, well, he won't be loose today. I think there's a duel in here between Bud Light Larry and Eaglebine, so definitely could set up for American League today. So I like 7-6-4.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like number 7, Hazim. Brent Rymack has done no wrong. He had 2 steps faster, a girl against the boys, in the 10-on-3. That was his only blemish. He ran 4th that day, beaten 3/4 of a length, came back and beat the boys in the next start, and Kick a Little Booty, his little 3-year-old filly, took care of them in the Chantilly, first time out. And Hazim has opened some eyes in the morning. A lot of people have been talking about how this horse not only looks, but how he was working so easy. A big, grand-looking horse. Brent Rymack has him ready. If Hazim is half ready, I think it's definitely good enough to take care of this field. I do like Bud Light Larry. I think Strider's Ring might come off the pace today. This horse used to be able to rally, and I think that would be the best because Eaglebine and Bud Light Larry have that one running style to the front, or at least really close to the front. So I think they're going to be able to battle it out. And Ace of Diamonds, the 2. Here's another one to take a look at. Came from Tampa, has a decent 5/8 work coming in, is going to be a closer in here. If you think that big pace battle is going to set up, Tim Rycroft can definitely get him ready to go at first asking. Watch for Ace of Diamonds to come flying, and you're probably going to get a big price, but I like 7-4-1. Now we're going to carry on to our feature race. It's the 44th running of the Golden Boy Stakes for 3-year-olds, and it'll kick off jackpot pick 5 wagering with the carryover just over $300,000. Marshall, who do you like in here?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a paradigm shift for us because, like you said, the start of the pick 5 begins in this race, and we're, of course, used to this being the start of the pick 4. Huge carryover, definitely worth taking a shot today. I guess the race really depends on how you see the pace going in here. Do you think Dune Doro can shake loose like he did in his last race? I thought that was a pretty nice race that he ran first out. The only comment is no work since that last race, and today he's got to go an extra furlong. And I do think there's a chance that he gets some pace pressure from the inside in Roland Sevens and the newcomer Casher Card. So if there is a duel, I think it sets up for number 7 Gambler. This horse has been facing some tough horses and racing older. Now he's back in with straight 3-year-olds, so that's a drop. His speed figures are the best in the field. I thought his last race was really impressive. He raced 5 wide throughout, basically, came on down the stretch, almost won. And let's face it, Jerry Gorno, he's been on fire lately, winning everything. He closed things off last week, winning a stakes race. It wouldn't surprise me if we see him open up this new week, winning another stakes race. So I like the 7 in here the best. The 2 Rail Hugger had a dream trip last time up the inside, but he was closing. He'll benefit from that first race, and he does have a nice 5 furlong work. So for me, I'm going 7-5-2, and I'm going to use the 7 in extra pick 4 tickets.
Okay, Stretch, what about you?
Okay, I'm with Marshall. It kind of stole my thunder on this horse. I thought I had a bit of a price horse. I'm all about the 7 as well. This horse, I happen to have stable mail notes on May 4th, mentioned to Marshall that we got to bet him the next time, and he did, and then he ended up winning. Looked good. Carl Brodberg is a big trainer, has a lot of horses. Most trainers probably would not have dropped this horse down. He did. He just got so many horses. Great. I think it's a great claim for the Gorno connection. So it just sets up if there is a duel. If there's no duel, that changes it. Same with Marshall, just like Marshall. I think the 2 at a distance should improve. And then my third choice is the 5. So I've got 7-2-5.
Yeah, I'm a little against you guys. I went to number 5, Dune Doro. I think this horse will get the lead all alone. The other horses that can press, Rolling Sevens, I don't think is fast enough. And Casher Card is a little question mark. Casher Card hit an easy campaign last year in the 2-year-olds and took care of them rather easily. And then went over to Alberta at Century Downs and had a little bit of a troubled trip there. Couldn't get anywhere near the lead, but came running in the end to run a good 4th place finish. Was beaten by Dune Doro and Rail Hugger in there, but that was going 7/8 on the bull ring, which was kind of tough for Casher Card to do. I expect it to run good today, but without a start under its belt, just might be in a little bit tough. But Gambler, I also love this horse. Racing against those older ones and now against straight 3-year-olds, that is a massive drop for any 3-year-old that has to run against the older, going back against its same age group. So I'm pretty well with you. 5, 7, and 6 for me. Now we're going to carry on to race number 4, kicking off pick 4 wagering. This is a $1,500 claimer for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up that are non-winners of the year, and they're going to go 6 furlongs. Stretch, start us off.
Okay, so a reminder, pick 4. If you played the pick 4 on Wednesday, you got your money back, so you basically get a free spin, so definitely take your shot. It's certainly there. So we're in for 1,500 as mentioned, and we're probably going to hear there's a lot of unknowns. So how can it be my play of the day? Well, I've got a few reasons here. Let's take a look at horse number 2. The key is you've got to watch the replay on the 2. The horse makes a really nice move on the far turn, right around the 6 furlong spot in a relatively tough field. I checked back. Another horse in that field has come back and won. A few others were dropping in that race. Much tougher field in that than he's racing today. It was obviously a private sale that they've worked out a deal with Carl Brodberg again. Again, as mentioned in the previous, he's got a lot of horses. It just might not fit his barn. He may not have barn space for him. So they got this horse probably at a pretty good price, putting him in here for the win. One thing of note, he only had the horse for 1 start. The previous trainer was 0 for 40, and that trainer seemed to have him in the wrong spots that he didn't belong. And so when he had that, just racing, those races are all dirtied up. It's much better than it looks. The figures are there. I just can't go past the 2. Like I said, play of the day. Strange to be in 1,500. The only horse that I guess is the best of the rest is the 3 horse. Makes that small drop from 2,500 to 1,500. If I'm wrong about this 2 and he's just not right at all, then it becomes the 3. The only other one is the 8, just simply speed. Find the speed if we know speed can win at these bottom claimers. So 2, 3, 8.
Okay, Marshall, what about you?
Yeah, 1500, not exactly my favorite type of race. I always start with the speed in these races. So Stretch mentioned the 8, Sierra Storm. I think she could find herself alone on the engine in here. Problem is she doesn't like to win races, at least not at ASD. She's 1 for 18 here. She's got 4 times as many seconds as she does firsts in her lifetime record. I've bet this horse a few times. She just never seems to get the job done. But it's a new year, fresh start, so maybe. Pretty Candy is another horse that seems logical, but again, I thought she ran a real clunker last time. She is dropping in from the $2,500 level. She sat behind a 3-horse duel last time, though, saving ground the entire way, and then literally couldn't pass any of them in the stretch. So I just wasn't impressed. Now, again, I'm not sure if Gardapi's horses, they just don't seem to be taking a step forward like they possibly should. This horse did run a great race to start with on May 26th. If she runs back to that race, I think she's tough in here for sure. But I'm going to go with the U.S. Invader for Jerry Gorno as my top choice. Number 2, Button Mushroom, facing tougher at Lone Star Park and Oaklawn Park. Definitely has dirty form. Those past races, they don't look great on form. But I like the fact that Whitehall jumps on board. And again, this is a horse that has been racing at the mile distance or longer, is 0 for 10 at this particular sprint distance, but I do think that she's still the most likely winner, and I'm going to end it off by saying, in Gorno we trust. 283 for me in this race, Kurt.
Okay, I see it a little differently in here. I like a couple other horses. I like number 6, Asha, coming out of the 5 non-3 lifers, dropping into this 15 non-winners a year. Ran a good race first time out. Unfortunately, met Witz Gatto, who absolutely destroyed him and came back to do the exact same thing at 1 to 5. Then ran into another tough race with legendary song Terry's Temper and Elsie's Parade in that non-3 and wasn't disrespected in there. 5th beaten 6. Now drops on down. This is a horse that can do a stalking roll. I expect Sierra Storm again to go out to the front end, but I think Asha's going to be sitting close. My only problem with Button Mushroom is that it might be just way too far back and have way too much ground to gain coming down the lane. I think Ash is going to be right there by the time they hit the head of the lane, and I think this drop in class is just what she needed, and I think we're going to get a good odds stay, even though 5 to 2. I think Gorno's going to take a lot of money, so Asha, I think, is a great play. I also like another little long shot in here, number 7, My Ray of Sunshine. This one made a nice move and then tired. What I seen in there was the horse needed that race really badly, and it did win at the end of the year last year in this same condition. Has won at Assiniboia Downs in the past, one other time, and has a workout since that last race. A nice half mile and 51 and 4. I expect this horse to move forward. As this is the $1,500 level, anything can happen. I like 6, 3, and 7. Now we're going to carry on to race number 5, kicking off the late pick 3 with a $5,000 claimer for 3-year-olds and up, and this is a tough race. Marshall, start us off.
Okay, well, so this is one of the 3 rescheduled races from last Wednesday. This was the 4th race, I believe, last week on the card. So at that time, I thought there were 2 top contenders. Today, with the addition of 1 horse, I think there's now 3 top contenders. But I'm going to start with number 1, Tis Funny. This horse looks like the speed of the race to me, moving up from the 3,500 level, but a repeat performance, and he definitely gets the win in here. He does have to go an extra half furlong, but I don't see anyone being able to run with him early. The only horse that I think can run him down is number 3, Dare to Enter. Also ran a really nice race last out. Making his 2nd start. He basically chased down a loose speed horse though that day, and he won going away. So I think he could run Tis Funny down. Now the 3rd horse, this was a newcomer to the race from last Wednesday. Number 8, Drop the Gloves. Ran a really big race first out. I'm not sure where that came from, although those races at Canterbury and Tampa, definitely fairly consistent, but he showed more speed in his last race, and I think if he stalks today and Tis Funny stops, which Tis Funny did do last year a couple of times, you never know. Maybe number 8, Drop the Gloves, can take it. I'm going to go 183.
Okay, Stretch, over to you.
Well, not much to add. If you watched our show on Wednesday, you would have heard the same commentary. It's basically the same. Agree. The eight's the only added one that maybe I'm going to include my pick 4s and pick 5s. I've got 138.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you guys here. And if you are going to watch some videos, watch Tis Funny last time. Was really impressive. Kayla Pizarro got the horse out of the gate, and she didn't do anything else after. She just sat on the horse, blazed down there in 59 and change. I think she's going to do the exact same thing. 5.5 furlongs is absolutely perfect for Tis Funny. I think this is the top end. Doesn't really like going a pressured 6 furlongs, but 5.5 is right up Tis Funny's alley. And I think Tis Funny is the wire-to-wire winner. I like 1, 8, and 3. Now we're going to carry on to race number 6, kicking off late double wagering with a maiden claimer for Manitoba, Saskatchewan, North and South Dakota breds. Going the 5.5 furlong stretch. What do you got to say about this one?
Okay, basically the same field as Wednesday, pretty much all the contenders. So you would think no reason to change my analysis. Not really changing my analysis, but I'm going to change my order. I've switched it up to the 3 horse now. Very nice first race. I think it's going to be controlling speed or right there. I did have the 7 originally. More I looked at it a little closer after the guys discussed it. They've convinced me that the 3 is the horse to play. It's one of the 3 older horses in here. 5-year-old maidens, I'm not a big fan, but that's an older horse in there. So you've got 3-year-old fillies. You know, they usually need a start from there. And that's why I ended up leaning to the 3. I like the 7 horse. Today was the 8 the other day. Like I mentioned, but in the past, I like the replay. I like that the horse keeps trying, stalking. The 3 is going to have to duel entire late for the 7 to win, and that's why I basically switched my picks. I feel that it's the 3's horse race to lose, and so because of that, I've got to take a 3-7. I'm boxing the horses. If I bet the 3 to win, it's a for sure exactor box. I think that it's down to just 3 and 7 for myself. I will take 5 just because it's my namesake, so I need a 3rd place horse, so 3-7-5.
All right, Marshall, what about you?
Well, the number 3, Awanana, is one of my best bets today. I've been waiting for this horse to come back. I really liked that last race. She pressed 3 wide, then no surprise, got tired down the lane. With an improvement today, I think this horse gets to the winner's circle. Again, I do think that she will be loose on the lead today. This isn't exactly a really tough field, so if she gets loose, I think she's gone. The number 8, Zip Eddie. I'm going to go with the number 8, Zip Eddie, for 2nd spot in here. This horse did just save ground for most of the trip, but he came out off the rail in the stretch. And I like the fact that this is his 2nd start after taking that drop from maiden special weight. Has every right to improve. The 3, still the stretch. I'm going to take to round out the try. Had been racing tougher last year. Elton Dickey is a solid 25% with a 12-horse sample size, 2nd off the shelf. And I like the fact that Whitehall sticks. But again, for me, it's 3 on top and 8 and 5.
Yeah, I see this as a wide open race. I did pick 3, 7, and 5 in here, but a couple other horses that you might want to look at. Number 2, Bunch of Cash, ran really well last year in Saskatchewan and even garnered a win, but it was taken away as the horse was disqualified. It might take advantage of Grey J, goes after Awanana like it did last time out, and it will get the inside position and lay 6. So maybe this horse can take enough sting and then set up for one of the closers to come. And Bunch of Cash, since they put on the blinkers last year for the last 4 starts, had run a lot better, and like I said, even got that win before being disqualified. So a Bunch of Cash might be one that you throw in. And also number 6, Brownfield. Take a look at this one. Drops in from the maiden allowance. Got beat by 17. Beaten by 10 lengths by number 8, Zip Eddie in there. But since that race, blinkers were added and 2 workouts back-to-back, a 5/8 and then a really nice half-mile and 50. I love seeing that angle. Brownfield's going to be probably about 30 to 1 on the board. This is a wide open race, and I think this horse just might be able to jump in. But I'm with you guys, 3, 7, and 5. But I could box the whole field in here. to feel comfortable. Now we're going to carry on to race number 7, Super High 5 Wagering with a carryover just over $37,000 for this $5,000 claimer for Manitoba, Saskatchewan, North and South Dakota breds that are non-2 lifers, a mix of girls and boys, going 5.5 furlongs. Marshall, what do you like?
This is a condition that is usually very competitive, and this race came up no differently. Looks like a pretty interesting race, pretty tough field, full field for sure. I'm going to go to number 6, Skoden. He looks like the speed of the race to me. He ran a really nice race last time out, pressing Ojo Del Mar, who came back to win yesterday at Century Mile again. The horse that finished second in their Strong Arm is racing tomorrow, I believe, or Wednesday. And I expect that horse to be tough and probably will get the win. So this horse, again, was racing in a really salty field. And today he drops in from that open N2L to Manitoba breds. Could be long gone. This would be the first win for jockey Nicole Hine. So we'll see if she can get the job done. Number 1, Looking Rich. This horse was winless last year, going 0 for 8. He was the beaten fave in half of those starts, so he's been a real money burner here.
Actually, number 4 today.
Oh,
actually,
he was the
number
one
4.
last
He was
time.
the one on the other.
That's
He was
right.
the one on the other
Correct.
day.
Okay, thanks. I stand corrected. So number 4, Looking Rich. Everything I just said was still up to date. He definitely was a money burner. He was the beaten fave 4 times in last year's races. He did finish in the money 6 out of 8 in those races. So he rarely runs a bad race, and he is definitely competitive. I want to mention number 5, Turbo Dine. I never know what to do with these Marquis Downs horses. The numbers seem inflated. The speed figures do, at least. But the horse has 3 wins. Again, purse money for less than is recognized in this race. And he's been racing in some tough races last year. A lot of older horses and winners, multiple winners. 4 decent works, but the trainer's 0 for 17 off a 180-day layoff. So there's mixed signals on this one, but again, pretty wide open field. So 20 to 1 on the morning line, maybe worth a shot. I'm going to finish things up with 6, 4, 3.
All right, over to you, Stretch.
Okay, yes. Ojo Del Mar keeps showing up just to crush me on Strong Arm each time. He was in fact the post 11 yesterday at Century Mile, went off as the favorite, dueled outside, took over, looked even better last time. So it shows that how good this horse has become. So everything that mentioned, it goes through the 6. After that, I'm just finding horses for the trifecta. If the 6 doesn't win, then it's wide open, and you'll see on my pick 4 ticket. I went to the 4. I actually moved the 4 up in my selections because it went from that dreaded 1 post to the 4. Now it doesn't have to be committed. Should get the dream trip. Basically what Marshall was talking about, is a money burner, but I think is the best of the rest. It, in fact, is not one of the fillies or mares, so that upgrades it. Just because I need a 3rd horse, it is the 8. Again, ran a nice first race, running for 2nd or 3rd at best. I had the 10 last time, a little higher. That post position outside moves out a little bit, lowers the chances. So I'm just going to make it easy, Kurt. The straight superfecta today is 6, 4, 8, 10. Write it down, mark it in.
Straight superfecta. All right, that's interesting. I also like number 6, Skoden, in here. Off that drop in class, speed, and there really isn't a lot of speed in here. You take a look, there's horses that could go to the front, but when they make the front, they go in 24. Skoden last year rattled down there in 22 and change at the end of the year before succumbing to going so fast. But Skoden, what a great race last time out. All of us said that right after it ran. It outran its odds of 40 to 1. I expect it to take a lot of money. Nicole Hine looking for her first win at Assiniboia Downs. That is the question mark right there. But if she can put Skoden on the front end, definitely a big shot to wire the field. I also like number 5, Turbo Dine, as Marshall pointed to. This horse, 23 lifetime starts, in the money all the time. 18 out of 23 times. can't argue that this horse tries. And number 9, Quest for the Wire. Here's a horse that's in the money last year, 6 out of 9 times. Got the job done when it was the big favorite. Almost every other defeat for this horse, the horse went wire to wire last year. So if Scoden goes wire to wire, Quest for the Wire will be a late rallier, and you're going to get great odds. 12 to 1 right now on the morning line. And that's our look. So I like 6, 5, and 9 in here. That's our look at the card here for this Monday evening, and good luck. And we'll see you back after the changes on this evening's Card of Racing.